3, 2, and 1. Back again. Thanks, Aaron.
Trophy money.
Trophy money. Well, okay. So if it's for the country racing, wouldn't it be better to say, okay, you're representing your area. Now, if you win for your area, you can take this back home. Rather than $100,000+ in trophies, we're going to put an extra $100,000 into the next meeting at your main track, and so that everybody else can then share in the spoils of your success. How about that?
Yeah, great idea. That's a great idea.
Great idea.
When are we going to start running racing in New South Wales, ATC? Who do we have to get rid of? We need to get rid of the Sarah, the Lebanese.
We'll worry about that later. Go on. Okay, we'll keep going because I don't know how long we're going to have here. What about how sick this game can make you and how awful things it can do? No one was cheering Glyn harder. Go Glyn! Go Glyn! I think probably all three of us on 10
How was it $29 on the fair?
Yeah, well,
$17.
That's the thing. I'm thinking, okay, I'm alive, and I looked at the fair in the last 2 minutes and I'm going, I'm dead.
What did it play big on the
Why
toe?
did it kick out on the fair like that?
I don't know.
I think it was oh no, it's $21
No, it kicked out, but it was $19.70 on the toe, just before I jumped, it kicked out to 21.
Yeah,
there it is. Okay, it was big odds thing. Oh, I'm under pressure to do the show.
Yeah, okay, that's alright. Well, we should tackle, let's talk about that. Exosphere, we're talking about the Blue Jackets, Glenn. Look, you know, I mean, obviously it's pulled up her, but how often do we see horses at the parade like that do end up with an injury afterwards?
So Exosphere paraded really badly.
Disgracefully.
Because, I mean, old mate from Ronnie's next door neighbour said to me yesterday, he said, oh, did you see that horse in the parade yard? Exosphere, like he's just stay at home, like watch him on TV, he doesn't really have a bet. That horse didn't want to be there, did it?
Overweight, scouring up.
Yeah.
Unhappy.
Yeah,
blah, blah, blah.
It was like, you know, I mean, the key negatives that Glenn's told me about, I suppose, can happen. We don't even know why they happen. But for a horse that was, I suppose, this was his target race, and I know it had a month between runs and all that.
It was $3.60 to $3.
It was like it was first up in the Royal Sovereign Stakes or something like that, Glenn. Would you say? Is that sort of how it was presented?
Yes, it was, and quite unlike the stable.
Yeah.
So if number one trainer there, J. O'Shea, Rick, is there with the horse, what's he thinking? What's like? He's in the mounting yard with the horse. What's he thinking about the horse's appearance?
I think he's thinking, how the hell do I scratch Old North?
he's still thinking, I'm trying to watch these races, but they're on 10 seconds delay.
He's sitting there going, yeah, Tarzan, I wasn't tomorrow, I made a decision. Old North bottom 1 by 10.
Back to the Derby, there was a question here, Mark. What's your SP on your repricing of Tobago, and what are we saying about the Derby? It's just
repricing of Tobago is like, I don't know, 8 to 1, 10 to 1.
Did the Derby just happen?
No, look, hello, it's a 2,400 metre race. How many horses had 2,400 metre lead-ups?
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
There were 3 horses in the race that had a recent 2,400 metre run. The 3 Kiwis.
So how the hell was something $1.60?
Huh?
Yeah, I know.
Why is racing so easy after the event?
No, but I marked Tarzino 4 to 1. I had 2 horses in front of it, Jamaica and Tally, they have beaten at home.
And Tally paraded awfully too.
Terrible. So...
Okay, terrible. You keep going, you go, because I'll make this point after, let's go.
So, we had Tarzino turn up at Rosehill and PR.
Yep.
And win the Rosehill Guineas.
Yep.
And that makes him 6-4 on in the Derby.
Yeah.
You know what's starting to make these horses a bit
because it won the Victoria Derby.
Is the caller.
Yeah.
This caller's putting pig booms on horses and deserves it because he's probably got his $50 on it.
Well, he's also vertically integrated in the game, so he's doing form line, he's doing all sorts of tipping and media.
Cool. And doing the 20 minutes before the race too.
So Darren's getting an awful big, he's getting a lot of coverage.
He's getting a lot of coverage. He's a race caller.
Shane
never used to get that much coverage, he's a better judge by a mile.
Shane was a professional punter.
So yes, that's the same.
I must say, I do admire his enthusiasm.
Okay.
You know, I reckon he's passionate about it, and I do like that.
Okay. I'd like to be able to objectively judge his calls by seeing them not fucking 5 seconds after they.
Well, that's a major problem.
It makes it very difficult. Okay, now to wrap up, there was one more. Oh yeah, this is what I was going to say. Back to the John O'Shea thing. And I know that John probably wants to stab all of us.
No, I like Johnny, likes me.
And gut us and all that. But you know what? Like, it is what it is. It's a game of opinions, and we can all be all right and wrong. But there's not just giving our little world here a rap. How many other people do you hear publicly go on about John O'Shea when they all say it behind, oh yeah, O'Shea's flopped again, and there's not many
None
people.
of the media writes anything about anything anymore.
Yeah.
You can't read a paper.
No.
You can't read RaceNet. You ever tried to read RaceNet later?
No. But I mean,
it used to be the best site in the world. You can't read it. You can use it for form.
No, there's no critiquing there, but there's not going to be any critiquing
no
there
one
because
has
they're
a-
looking for sponsorships.
Because the Tab and Volandes and everyone's got deals and everything's hunky-dory. We blow up about everything needs to be blown up about. That's why we're a popular site.
Plus
Yeah.
everything that doesn't need to be blown.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm trying to fucking find a jewel and get half of the wax of these trophies.
Okay, but the O'Shea situation is partly because if we go back to the days of John Hawkes, actually we go back to the days of Vic Thompson. A bit of a struggle for the Inghams, bit of a struggle.
Yeah.
They get John Hawkes. When did Pete Snowden turn up in the camp?
Somewhere around then, was it?
So Jay Hawkes had Pete Snowden. Pete Snowden had Pete Snowden. Jay O'Shea doesn't have Pete Snowden.
And can I make a point too?
He's got Dazzler, who's not riding any more track work, I'm telling you.
Dazzler, but can I make a point too about how John's going compared to Snowden and all that? Snowden had Kerrin. John has James.
Wow.
Like, you think about that.
At the time when Kerrin wasn't handling it well. Every rider's going,
Think about that, Glenster.
That's the end of part one.
No, well, actually, because we've had 15 different parts, we'll just keep going to part 2. How's that?
Okay.
Mick Fagan. Mick Fagan. Is
Good man, you Mick. Good man.
I see him occasionally.
You haven't seen
Walking
Mick
around
for
quickly, I
ages.
see him and he just blows up every time about how you can't have a bet anymore.
Yeah, okay, blowing up again. What a disgrace for Hemwick is. Track bordering on heavy on Saturday with 3 days of good weather leading into it. It was that hot sunscreen was required for those attending Theatre of the Horse. I live 4 blocks in Randwick and my glass in the backyard was a firm 2. All this bullshit about heavy dews, do they mean Jeez, as we before mentioned, the track either needs to be dug up or the course curator shown the door. Kensington track, TV's out of sync, Darren Pearce is a pod player.
Well, I just love that. Oh, Mick Fagan, that is the quote of the week. Darren Pearce is a pot
and not saying about Darren as such, but just
Well,
saying,
I like Darren, but
yeah,
I
but
just
the
think-
use of the term pot plant, even Darren, I think you've got to take your hat off to that. I mean, like, you know.
That's sensational. Can I say something about Randwick, the Randwick track? Norm James, do you remember him?
I know that.
Curator of the year.
Yeah.
He dug up all the sand out of Randwick
Yeah.
and filled it with junk.
Yeah.
Like Lindsay Murphy was out at Canterbury watching every load of soil go onto Canterbury. Randwick, they found bloody, I don't know, building materials or whatever they filled it up with.
Yeah.
They probably got paid to get the fill.
That's why if you go out onto the lawn outside the toad house, the toilets there, you know, at the back.
Yeah.
It's always like you can't dig into
fast,
it because that's just
It's the old
whatever it
natural,
is.
natural ground, isn't it?
The track is full of shit. And so it rains on it, and I don't know, it's like a sponge or something.
Just go.
Who'd want a natural sand base? Anyway.
What about a sinkhole during a derby one year? Round the back, there was that big sinkhole appears, and like every rider.
And you and
There's
Ivy.
me at the 100th chance scouting out
Yeah.
wide with Daniel Gandon.
and the whole 90% of the track would be covered and we'd be there blowing up. It's really unsafe to ride, isn't it?
What about me? I think Lila going, what do you mean you're calling the meeting off? I can
That's
ride
right.
around this.
You can't get around
Get
it.
some witches hats out.
Leo said, hi guys, love the show and everything you blokes are doing for the lifeblood of sport, punters. One of my mates who's a pretty successful punter lives by the theories there's a horse that trials away from home, aka Waller horses trialling at Randwick or One Gaze trialling at Warwick Farm, can be elite to backing them first up. Does the panel have any opinion on this? And the answer is yes, Leo, it is one of Mark's polls.
Trialling away from home is very useful because you know, it adds to the horse's experience. They've had to travel to the trials and they've actually had to do something in unfamiliar conditions.
Well, it helps the maturity and the development of an animal.
And is it also then conversely too that the trial at home doesn't really mean much because it's all in the environment and la-di-da whoopie-whoop.
Yeah, and also, but it's about trainer intention as well.
Yeah.
The trainer is taking the horse away to trial,
rather
doing
than-
it for a good reason.
Yeah, I think is the point being if it's done something at home really well, you need to have something else to go with it. So I mean,
Context.
if a horse that's done really well before, it's got a good base of form and it's trialled well at home, you go okay. But if it's just a horse that we're seeing for the first time that's run really well at home and that's all you've got to use, the market is going to overvalue that to what it should be. Is that a fair point?
Yeah.
Cool. David, cock of the week. The Randwick TV screens, we need them up to date with the race. In an interview, Chris Waller said he did not know Libran had won until he heard Hong Kong Darren as the screen he was watching was 200 metres behind the race. Disgraceful. The good point there from David is that Chris Waller has mentioned it, so we're a chance of getting it right.
I heard Chris Waller mention it.
Yeah.
He said it didn't look like it was going to win Libran. It looked like it was just going to hang
Yeah.
behind.
Yeah.
But Darren was calling, here it comes,
Yeah.
to your eye, it wasn't coming anywhere. But I heard Chris Waller mention that. She's got a good sort of a walk. I didn't realise this. wife is so sexy.
Yeah, and he also went on to mention that positive note, driving Miss Mason very funny. When Glenn and Aaron put their mask on, I had a feeling I'd seen them somewhere before. I remember that they were on a local 7-Eleven store on the wall for the reward for capture. This store is on the way to Hawkesbury races. At least I know where Glenn got his bank for Hawkesbury. Little 7-Eleven and you're dropping on the way there, Glenn, to get the old B. The greatest producer of cash in the world.
I haven't got $1.
Chris won.
I'll be out of the tournament. I won't have any rebuys this week. There's no cash.
No cash, no more?
Nothing left.
Might be a good betting meeting on Saturday, Glenn.
Yeah, I'll find something.
Ralph made mention now. This is actually something that we need to probably talk about too. No sectional times available from Mornington on Saturday. How can the people running Victoria Racing be so out of touch with the core business? Ralphie's got a few mentions today on the things he's sent into us. And Anthony Goonan, good man, he said, shocked me, they've run 2 out-of-town meetings on Slipper Day and Doncaster Derby Day. They run a turnover beers, why do that? It is quite a strange little world that we live in, isn't it? That on our 2 biggest days of Sydney, I suppose the Slipper Day and Doncaster Derby Day, the corresponding Melbourne meetings have been in Bendigo and Mornington. That doesn't seem right, does it?
I don't know. It depends on you know, what you're trying to achieve. I mean, we go to Scone, we go to Hawkesbury.
Yeah, but it doesn't correspond with Derby.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, like it's again administration, cooperation. You're in the same game together. New South Wales, okay. Victoria's obviously going better than New South Wales. Both can benefit with each other rather than fighting each other. And I don't think having away meetings on our 2 biggest days is the right way to handle it. I think both.
But aren't they thinking that our 2 biggest days are going to draw attention away from them? So, like,
maybe, or let's bolster it and let's work together. I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking. Barry Collier, who does put some great tweets out of old nostalgic type things, put this one up on Twitter if you can find it. Just look up Barry Collier's handle, which is at bcollier71. He said, 50,000 Randwick Royal Day crowd disappoints. I'm disgusted, says the AJC chairman, that with the 50,000 attendance for the Royal Day at Randwick, at least 20,000 below expectations and 43,000 below the course record. Disgusted.
Wow. Wow. You've got to remember that. What was the population of Sydney then?
Yeah, that's
1 million.
Yeah.
It's probably 4 times bigger now.
That's 1954, yeah. And I know Robbie, hopefully not stealing his thunder for his column in his paper tomorrow, makes mention he feels...
We've got different audience.
He said, well, he feels that he feels for the chairman of the Oakbank Turf Club, wasn't it? Because they only got 35,000 people there.
They were disgusting.
Out of Adelaide, which has obviously got a lot less people there.
You got to drive, don't you?
Yeah, and it was with a grandstand built in 1927. So they managed to get 35, and in Sydney we got 22.
Did you know that we were going to spend, how many million did we spend on the grandstand?
Yeah, but look,
35 billion.
Right.
Just come in just quick, mate. You've got to understand, if you for years and years and years keep escorting people off the race course and tapping them on the shoulder, and they come during the year to Rosie and say, listen, you've had 3 drinks, there's a bar there, you've got to go, you're an art, and you keep dragging them off. They're never ever going to come back.
Nor are their friends.
Get one of the big punting teams to Dr. Nixon to look at the mathematics of dragging 5 people off like 20 times a day over a year,
algorithm time
times 6 years.
Yeah.
We're 5 years
inversely proportional to their family members and friends.
And you've got goons and this and that, and it's just ugly.
Yeah.
Everything's ugly and expensive, but that day they just didn't back a winner. How are you going to come back?
No, exactly. Repeat business.
So,
yeah. Well done.
This must be an
so
algorithm.
we spent however many million on the grandstand
57
to get
million,
half the crowd. So we were going, we want to halve the crowd, so we'll spend some money on a grandstand. They get half the crowd now than they used to.
How much they spent on the grandstand, Glenn? I think it was 96 billion, wasn't it?
It's just unbelievable. The more you think about it, it's just unbelievable.
It is. Anyway, Tom said, Dear Dallas, I was absolutely delighted with the quality and depth of analysis John set for Doncaster today. This is John Walter. When paying for tips, it is important for the customer to see the work that has been put in. John's commentary for each runner was insightful, considered, and a joy to have as a punting aid. I cleaned up. I'm now a convert and happy to pay for that service on an ongoing basis for as long as he puts in the work at that level.
Well, he always will.
Please,
that's all he does.
Please convey to him my great appreciation and heartfelt thanks and best wishes. He's an asset to the organisation. Indeed he is.
Very nice.
It is, but you know, I think that goes across the board for everybody, whatever the service is. some of them look different to the others. But the one question is there's you can never question the
I couldn't put this out in my text, but we noticed it as well, and why the stewards never picked up.
Well, Alex Donnelly has mentioned this last 2 starts. I think they got it at the barrier last start, Kermadec. He said, Kermadec bleeding from the mouth again pre-race and runs a career worst. No one else seemed to notice.
He was bleeding out of the mouth.
But when he was last start. It's like at the saliva, you could clearly see that he sticks his tongue out when he walks. So what do all the horses do that? What's that about?
What's Waller thinking there?
What, with him bleeding?
Yeah. No, I mean, like, what
Waller's thinking one thing, he's just got his eyes completely on Winks.
Yeah.
That's what he's thinking.
Because interestingly,
I bet you didn't notice.
He's had a shocking day. Take away Winks and Lib run, right? Like, I mean, I mean, like, the other horses, they've run terribly.
Listen, any day he gets to cry is an alright day. He was got the tears going again.
It's a shocking day. He only won the Sydney Cup lead up and he won the Doncaster.
It was a minor race. Like his last 25 runners in town. I think it's Winks and Lib run.
Oh Jesus! Must be awful for him.
How long's Chris been around for?
Chris Waller?
Yeah.
10 years?
No, longer.
Yeah, he's been around for nearly 20 years, but as a force, how long has he been around for?
I would have said 10 years.
Well, no, I reckon he would have started at Rose Hill probably late 90s.
Yeah,
late 90s, 2000, something like that.
So he's been around 18.
So he's probably as a force probably a dozen years.
He started off as a Bjorn Maker, didn't he?
No, not even that.
No. He was a Craig Ritchie sort of like.
Yeah, he started off as Craig Ritchie.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Well, he's obviously a brilliant trainer, and he's obviously a hardest worker of all time, and he's a formidable, But
he seems to have been a juggernaut for ages.
He does.
It actually isn't that long.
Well, I don't know how you go from being. He has managed to become a Teflon Don pretty quick. He's done very well there.
Yeah, he certainly has.
Anyway, we move along now. This isn't racist, I don't think. From because I know even Matthew Taylor didn't even think that. He said, "Hey Matt, you'll be pleased they are acting on racism in the vegetable industry, and that is no longer a Jap potato; it's a Japanese, a Jap pumpkin. It's a Japanese pumpkin."
All right.
Because you know how Jap is racist, apparently, Glenn.
Oh, okay, but aren't they called that? They are actually called Jap pumpkins.
They are, but they're now called Japanese.
Did we change because of us?
I don't know. I think mustard. Yeah, they were should punish it. Alright, that's that. That'll do. Now, Justin mentioned this. Now, we've got an article on this, Mark. We'll just finish off the emails with this, and apologies to the ones there, but we're just playing on this low battery. Oh, hi team. I'm a keen punting enthusiast from New Zealand and would like to say just how much I enjoy your website and all of the various contributors. In particular, I very much enjoy any videos that has the various professional punters talking about their methods and the way they attack doing the form. Whatever you do, don't go to the races with that attitude, though, Justin. Two men in particular I enjoy hearing from are John Walder and Darren Potter, and really enjoy the insights into doing the form. I know John has just done a video this week, blah blah blah, and basically wants to ask about how you come up with the prices and how you set a market, because he'd love to do that. Now, I've had an article up on the site, I thought, about that very matter, and I went looking for it, and it wasn't on the site.
Right.
So
that was
for the new launch in the vault section. So I'll dig that up and put it up. But to explain setting a market, it's the easiest way. I suppose it's just a ranking order and then go from there.
Well, see, I use the old bookies board, the imperial bookies board, to set a market. But I mean, I know that other people have different methods. But I used to basically using that old book.
Did you start off with like putting them in like A, B, C, D, E
in order of that?
In order of market, or you just
I give my horses a ranking. That's right. But I might have horses on equal.
So you'd have had Jamaica A, and you had Tarzana C.
Yeah.
But just to explain that, Glenn, for people who don't understand, basically what you do, whatever way that you arrive at your final position for a race, is that I think what Glenn was saying there is you have, I suppose, your best chances grouped as one, your next lot of chances grouped as another group, your third best and your fourth best. So the ones that can't win are at the bottom, the ones you really like are at the top, and then you juggle them into positions and then put a mathematical number on it. Is that right?
Yeah, but I think people struggle with, how then do I take these rankings and allocate prices, which, obviously, Don Scott came up with this algorithm, but it wasn't actually.
I just thought of the work I do. Like I put them on price around before I leave, and then of course it really varies according to the track. But like for example, for me, I had it about D or E, but it was very hard for me to tempt me not longer than 10s. I was
Yeah.
really comfortable at 10s.
Yeah. It's either
Really comfortable at 10s.
7,
Then I
9 or
saw
10 to 1.
grade, all I could do is maybe think, well, this should be short of 10s.
Yeah.
So I took $17, the next thing was 29s in the fair. Well,
Yeah.
it's an easy bet to have.
That's exactly right. Now,
Whether it is a 10 chance or not, it's an easy price to market.
from me being able to, you know, for what I've learned off Mark and you obviously Glenn too, is the way where I got my head around it is that people say, oh well, is it $2.50 or $2.60 or whatever? But I think that when you put it into the simplistic way that I think Mark through Peter Todd's methods and all that, you don't have that finite. You've got it's either 7 to 4 or 5 to 2. You know, so you're not worried about that.
It's 7 to 2,
and you put them in that bracket, and then when you need to adjust it for your percentages to tidy up, you come back and do that at the end of it.
Just if I finish up with 103 or 104,
Yeah.
or I don't know,
So
if I end up
good
with
goal.
96, and I'm going to.
Yeah.
It does because I'm
No.
using it as like par on a golf course.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
You know, like I'm sure there's like a stack of par 4s out there, but a lot of the pros go like you get 3.8 all the time, and this that one's hard to get 4.
Yeah,
because you're looking for par.
Yeah,
and that's the bracket.
It's not
Imperial odd that 4 turns is fantastic, and that 4 turns is 5 to 4, 7 to 4, 5 to 2, 7 to 2, 5s, 7s, 10s. 15s or 14s and 25s, 50s. It's easy to work out. And you're trying to just fit them in that range, get close to 100%, and then you can read your market. Whether your market's wrong or right, that's up to your ability.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. But easier to understand if it's on the side, and that article, I'm sure, will explain that pretty well, didn't it, Mark?
Yeah, and so it does.
I'll put that up, and we'll actually give it a boost on Facebook over the week, so we'll be able to see it.
I get a card all the time. They go, oh, what about Winks? And one they bet even money, and you go, how did they do that? And I go, well, how do they do that? Because when you put it in here and then put the other pieces here.
Because I gave it everything. I'm a Winks lover. No, I make Photable on.
Oh, that's fantastic.
But I've actually given Winks every possible help.
There it is.
You know, here's it.
What are we doing?
No, we're going to finish part 2 in a traditional sense. Back with part 3.
I'll back with part 3.